Hi everyone, it's Jamie from anysoftwareyouwant.com, and in this video we're going to give you a lightning quick demo of our 51 million website dataset. So just to give you a brief overview of this dataset, it's a huge 51 million list of websites that our crawlers have compiled. It's actually a little bit bigger than 51 million, as you can see here. But we like to over-deliver because sometimes websites go offline quickly, etc. It contains over 99% of the websites online that are publicly accessible, so as you can see it's a very comprehensive data set. So let's have a quick browse of the data and just go over the different data that's within this data set. So you can see we've got the domain, fairly self-explanatory. We've got the title. Now that title is extracted from the HTML of the website. Title's really good because it gives you a short overview of what the website is about. And then we've also got the description of the website that is extracted from the website's HTML meta tags. And the reason we pull those two bits of information is because once we have that, we can use keyword matching to categorize it our side, and then also if we provide you with that data, you can then search for keywords within that data. We also provide the TLD, the top level domain, so you can filter down to things like .co.uk if you only want to look at UK based websites. Now let's have a look at our categorization. So we provide a primary and a secondary categorization on all the websites if we think we found one. So what we mean by that is we use keywords to put the websites into categories, but obviously if a website doesn't have sufficient keywords for us to categorize it, then we just won't categorize it. Every time we categorize a website, as I said, there's a primary and a secondary category, because sometimes you can have a blog that spans multiple topics, and we give a broad category and then a more granular category. So, for example, technology and software, and then within that you might have cybersecurity and privacy. We also provide a matching score. So whenever we think we've worked out what category we'd place a website in, we give you a certainty score of it. So that gives you the ability to decide how sort of lenient you want that scoring to be. So say for example you're doing an outreach campaign and you are sending a message to websites that have to be in the fitness niche, and if they're not in it, then that message is going to can be completely irrelevant, and people might mark it spam, and it might affect your delivery rates, etc., or your campaign success rates. So you can set the match score quite high when you're filtering these websites, so that you know you're definitely going to be reaching out to websites that are in that niche. But if you're reaching out to websites and the niche isn't really that important, then you can lower that score. Now we'll do a few quick demos of filtering down to certain niches and certain TLDs and filtering by keywords, etc. We'll do these in both the MySQL format that you can see here, and we'll also do it in the CSV format that's provided. And just so you're aware, full training is provided in a video format for installation of MySQL and working with these large data sets on your local machine. So even if you're not from a technical background, we'll show you how to install MySQL, install a MySQL client, and then do some queries, etc. And we'll go into a more detailed way of extracting things from the CSV of PowerShell, etc. So we provide all the training you need to work with these large data sets. So our first quick little demo here, you can see we've filtered down to all UK websites in the health and wellness niche. So we wrote a simple little SQL query here, where TLD equals co.uk, and where our primary niche is health and wellness. And then we've ordered it by how sure we are that they're within that niche. And as you can see, we've got over 60 million results, and that's just for the UK. So globally there'll be, multitudes more than that. So for our next demo here, we've made a little SQL statement here that says if the title or the description from the website contains the keyword California, and to show it as a result. So that demonstrates how you can use the data set for geographical targeting. You can find certain businesses in certain locations, and as you can see in the example here in California, we found a huge amount of websites with California in the title or the description, 114,000. So for our next demo now, we're going to show you how to use the CSV format, the comma separated value file. So if you don't want to use a database, you can use the file as a simple CSV file. So you can see we've got the file open here. We've got over 51 million lines in it, and we're going to use this PowerShell command here to filter down to any row that has co.uk in it to give us UK based domains. So you can see we're reading the file here, we're filtering co.uk, and then we're outputting into a new CSV file there. So we'll set that command running now. Now working with CSVs, it is slower than working with a MySQL database, so we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll have a look at our TLD filtered file. So we've come back a little bit later and you can see our PowerShell command has finished running, and if we look inside this folder where we outputted the new file to, you can see we have our TLD filtered CSV. If we open it up, you can see we've got our original CSV file, our huge data set, now filtered down to just .co.uk domains. And obviously, because it's a CSV file, you can open it up in a spreadsheet tool, Excel or anything like that, and you can see we've got the headers here. It looks a little bit nicer than opening up with a text editor. Now for our final demo, we're going to take our big CSV, the original one, 51 million lines, and we're going to filter it down to only rows that contain Texas, which will be in the title and the description of the website. So we've changed our PowerShell command here. You can see we're filtering for the word Texas, and then we're outputting it into a new file there. So we'll set that going, and then we'll come back in a bit and we'll show the results. So we come back a few minutes later, and as you can see our command has finished, and if we open up the new file, our Texas filtered CSV file, you can see all of the rows now have either Texas in the description or in the title column. And as you can see, it's a nice big new data set we've created of 124,000 websites that have Texas in either the title or the description of the website. And that concludes our demos. We hope you see how powerful these data sets are for lead generation or big data projects. And as we said, this data set contains over 99% of the live websites on the internet, and full training is provided upon purchase. So even if you're not technical, we'll show you how to use these data sets on your local machine and how to get the most from them. Thank you for watching.